Hello YouTube, Elita Legionarii here, just bringing you some Rome 2 action. I know I haven't uploaded anything in the way of a battle for quite a few days now, so I thought I'd bring you some Rome 2. It's been a while since I had any Rome 2. There's a bit of a reason for that. I want to point out too that I'm on the version 1.9.0 build, which is patch 9 beta. I put it over to the beta, so there's not a lot of multiplayer battles to be had at the moment because people are still on the version 1.8.1. The reason I did it is because I went over the patch notes and stuff and various things, and if you look here, for instance, if I click on Rome, well, it affects all the factions, but the prices now are much more expensive. This Praetorian Guard is now about 400 gold, 400, what are they, denarii? Is it denarii? I can't remember what the gold is in this game. It's more, everything's more expensive. Absolutely everything, like, let's see, solutions. 1,420 for cataphracts, 1,280 for royal peltis. Everything's become a lot more expensive. All the elite units, not everything, but just the elite units. Anything that's got the courage ability, it's been, because it's an elite, considered an elite unit. And this affects all the factions, so it's still all balanced and everything. It's become a lot more expensive. So what this means is, and I'm really thrilled by this, is because it stops spamming. Like, for instance, I'd started to get rather bored with Rome 2 online because I just, say I was facing Rome and I'd come across an army that was just pumped full of Praetorians, but now you can only actually spam 11 of them, whereas you could spam about 17 of them before. And if you do this, you've got nothing else. So, it's much harder, because I always use 13,500. So by doing it this way, it's just better. A lot of the weaker units, for instance, like Hastati and, I'll use Carthage as an example, because they've got a few low level units. If you look at these units like Iberian mercenary swordsmen stuff, they're stronger and cheaper. So this means like the real weaker, the light infantry and stuff, it's cheaper than it used to be, but it's also stronger than it used to be, and plus it gets a bonus versus infantry. Whereas more elite units, like for instance the O-Swarm, which we all knew was super powerful, it only gets a small bonus, whereas some of the lighter infantry types get several of them get higher kind of bonuses, which is really good. And you also things like this bonus versus large, which is bonus versus cavalry and elephants, which is extremely handy because elephants and chariots, while they're still very, very powerful, they have lost a bit of mass, so you can stop them now. It's still very difficult, particularly elephants, but it's not as bad as it used to be. But just these little things have made this much more fun, because what I like the most is, whereas with 13,500 before I could still spam Praetorian Guard and get real good cav and missiles to go with it, I can't anymore. So for instance, if I get like my general now thought, right, 3 Praetorian Guard, and I've already spent nearly 4,000. I have spent 4,000 rather, just like that, and I've only got 3, so I have to think now about my build a lot more, which means I have to think about using some of these other units, like for instance Legionary Cohort, and I might think about just the variation of units here. In this, it's much better that way. So for instance, for cavalry, so if I wanted to do what most people I've seen use Rome do since Rome 2 came out, I'd go like something like this. And even just that many has taken, Sevens has taken so many, and then they get some Praetorian cavalry. They only get 3. See what I mean? There's no missiles, and it's a very smallish but elite army. And this allows for you have to think a lot more about your build when you go into battle, and that makes this so much more interesting and so much better, because it also does one other thing. Now when I say this, I mean not to insult anyone, so I know you guys are not going to be bothered by it. But I'm just going to use an example. About 2 weeks ago, me and the Swedish Landsknecht were online, and we wanted to do a particular battle where we limited the amount of units they had in courage, and stuff like that, to basically vary up the units and stuff like that to make it different. And of course, our opponents didn't understand the rules. And then when we went to the game, they had their big spam armies. We said, "You guys have broken the rules. We want to do this." And they started calling us noobs and swearing at us, basically giving us crap. and it's just because they couldn't have their spam armies. So what this will do is people who want to use their spam armies will have to increase the funds of their game. So you'll be able to distinguish between people who are relying on spams by high money counts and people who want to rely more on learning the new tactic, these new builds and stuff, by the fact that they're going to have a smaller fund. So for instance, to actually get the same level of spam as before, you probably need to put it up to a good 1700 probably. If I did it that way, let's have a look. Can I do let's see. Right, let's see. And even then at 1700, it's still pretty hard for us to get a pretty strong spammer army. So it's going to mean they have to keep putting the money up. So you'll be able to tell between who's who, with like people who are playing on the lower funds and stuff, like all the normal funds that people played on before, will be players who are trying to learn this new way the game's being represented, whereas other players are going to be hocking the money up so they can still use their spam army. So it kind of lets you know who your opponents are, because I got really tired of fighting people like that. And that's really good. And there's just a lot of other really useful little bits, like obviously repricing's great. The elephants haven't really been repriced, which is it was a wee bit unfortunate, but they are weaker now, so it's not too bad. As I said before, like light infantry and stuff is much cheaper, but also much stronger than it was before, so it allows you to put a lot of upgrades on them, and they're quite useful in a fight, and it opens up new tactics. Buildings have this bonus versus large, like I said, comes in very handy against elephants and chariots and other cavalry. And there's various other bits and pieces that the game has introduced. You can just type in patch 9 beta patch notes or something on Google, and you can have a more in-depth look. I've kind of forgotten all of it off the top of my head, but it's very cool. So I didn't come here just to tell you that, though. I do have a battle. Now, I had to scrap all most of my replays because when you put new patches up, they all become redundant, so that's a bit unfortunate. So, now if I remember correctly, I've done a few battles against Doc Holliday because he put the patch on. And if I remember correctly, I might as well delete these two now, because both of these are on an old patch and they're corrupted, so they're no good. This one was the one first on the patch, so I'm going to bring this one up. So I was playing Pontus and he was Carthage. If you look at the builds here, I could only afford 3 of the Noble Cav. I have 3 of the Javelins, 5 Hoplites, 5 Swordsmen, 3 Slingers, and 1 Horse Archer. He has, I think they were Noble Cav, 2 Carthaginian Cav, 4 Cretan Archers, and 5 African Pikes and 1 Libyan Swordsman. So as you can see there, his armies actually, he's had to rely more on pikes, which have become a wee bit weaker, I think, on this patch, which is unfortunate, because he's got a lot of cav there, which is pretty expensive. So anyway, let's have a look, see his minutes ready. It's a pretty flat map, if I remember correctly, deserty kind of flat map. And I've got a very specific strategy. I had a very specific strategy in mind when I built this army. I knew that he'd bring pikes, because he likes pikes. I knew he'd bring quite a lot of archers. I know the way he likes to fight most of the time. So what I had in mind was to use my hoplites and then put them into hoplite formation or phalanx wall, and just hold his pikes in place. And then I'll just use my javelins to thin them out a bit so I can hold them longer, and Eastern Slingers will occupy his Cretan Archers, and then I hopefully try and draw him in to my flanks, my Horse Archers, and some of these Swordsmen. And normally the Swordsmen would be a better choice, because Swordsmen are actually quite a lot better now from taking pikes on the front than they were previously. But I put them on the flanks here because I want to actually get a cavalry fight going first, then toss my swords in. Now the hoplites would be better at that, but the Swordsmen won't do the holding, the fixing his centre. So what I'm aiming to do in this fight is to simply fix his entire centre and win on the flanks. That's what I'm trying to do. So for now, he comes forward with his Cretan Archers there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Horse Archers forward, see if I can bait him in a little bit. He's got, let's see, Noble Cav. Yeah, that Noble Cav's like all over 1,000, so his infantry is not particularly good. at the expense so that his cavalry can be good, because it's like just a lot more expensive, whereas they were about 800 before, they're about 1,200 now, so they're much more expensive. So if I can sucker him into the fight on the flanks and he can lose these guys, I can crack his centre open very easily, because it's not very strong. And you know, my centre is not really that great either, but it'll hold. It's a pretty decent morale and high defence, and once I stick it in formation there, it'll hold it up for a while. So I'm using concentration fire to attack these guys. He's got one extra though, so he should be able to win. If that fight had been in even numbers, it probably would have gone on for quite well. Cretans are the best missile units in the game though. The slingers tend to do very well. So here he gets into battle with me. I get trampled down, he doesn't, so... Oh, that's a Carthaginian cav, doesn't have trample, sorry. And it quickly gets destroyed almost instantly for him. So he's sending more guys in, but I've got my swordsman here to support. So I quickly would disengage my general there, and I get my guys here. He does get trampled off. I was kind of trying to put down shield wall, but it doesn't really matter, because heavy infantry are much harder to charge down than with this, you know, like chop cav than they used to be. So I charge into the flank of his men here, although my men are tired from that first trample I got off. So I get pretty thrashed in the missile duel. I did expect that would happen. In fact, I hardly touched him, I don't think. I hardly touched him. So anyway, I've left the unit of swords in reserve in case I need to, but as you can see, because I got swords into this fight, it's going pretty well in my favour. In fact, let's get a bit of a close-up of some of this. Plenty of blood there, the blood pack rather. Got to say, the Pontic cav do look very awesome. I think the cavalry fight's probably about to begin on the other flank, yep. So I spread my guys wider so I can get more coverage. And I get a bit of charge anyway. I get trampled off here, so I think, you know, he got trampled just in time. But I'm tossing my swordsman in now. So he does have his Cretans though, so if he got them behind my lines, it'd be kind of bad for me. He is targeting my javelin men here. Because they got a shield, they'll be able to hold on a little while. But as you can see, I've already done quite a bit of damage. He did manage to disengage here, which was actually quite interesting. But some disengagement's better. But as you can see, he's going to lose his general soon, because I got the better charge, more momentum, and I do believe I have infantry here. I noticed though that my cavalry fight was going nicely in this favour on my side, so I don't put my infantry on the side. I'm going to use them to outflank here, because otherwise I will lose my guys eventually, I believe. My hoplites can probably hold them off. They could potentially beat them, because pikes are not as strong, but he's got a couple upgrades, so, and these are not great hoplites, so it's only pretty standard. So here's a horse arch unit that's just picking away at him here. As you can see, he's put his Libyan infantry into the fight, but I got 2 against 1, so I should hold on. But Libyan infantry's better. This is only Libyan infantry. As you can see on this side, I just ignore this pike he's pulled off. Yeah, and even though I might end up just swamping it from 2 sides here, I do actually decide to do that. So I charge this one in, and then I got this one behind it. But as you can see, this unit's still actually doing pretty well against it. Now that I've got this unit coming in from behind, it'll certainly win. I'm about to win the cavalry fight as well on this side. Now I go into hoplite wall here. So the melee defense is at 86 now, so it's very, very high. And his cavalry get destroyed on this flank. Over here, my Pontic swordsmen are taking a wee bit more damage when he puts his cavalry in to assist. But now I've also got my javelins, and as you can see, this unit's been shredded down by 50 men by my javelins alone. So as you can see, he's not really doing anything much to me, because these guys are holding. They're holding very well actually. And as you can see over here, this unit's getting truly sandwiched and destroyed very quickly. Although for some reason this unit wasn't really going in for as much. I'm not really sure why that was. But as you can see, I'm about to just kill his general as well. And I'm moving these guys onto the flank of these dudes here, so that should hold them up pretty nicely. Now if I had spears into the flank here, I probably would have done better against his cav. But it's alright. These 2 units of Pontic. This unit of Pontic, my general's free, and so is my basically I'm free on this flank, so I'm moving around to encircle and flank him away. His Cretan archers are being annoying. As you can see, they've got very high kills. They were a unit that was a bit of a nuisance here. Possibly why this fight over here wasn't actually going as quickly as I wanted. I was taking Cretan fire from the flank. So here I'm moving to outflank him now, and he's going to lose his side pretty quickly. And I believe he admitted defeat at that stage, but he could have held on for a bit longer, but I had him all outflanked, so it would have gone my way in the end. So anyway guys, hope you're enjoying that one. I have another one coming up with Doc Holliday next, where he does perform much better, he does a much better job. So hold on, I should be able to show you the statistics. There you go, there's the statistics. He actually got a lot more kills, but my army was bigger. What got his kills? So his pikes were doing good, but they're because they're only hoplites. But pikes are pretty, it's hard to tell. From what I've heard, they're not as good, but I'm not too sure. I found them to do okay against me, but I'm still learning the patch, so I'm not too sure. So he still got a hold on there, but because I had him outflanked and still had plenty of cavalry left, I find it unlikely he would have been able to stop me. So he didn't think so, so he admitted. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed that. It's a good game to Doc. He may even upload it himself one day, I'm not sure. Oh wait a minute, I don't know if he saved it. I'm not sure. Well anyway, be sure to check Doc's channel out. He has started a new one, of course. I think I put a video up there recently. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon next time.